Hello everyone, so buckle up for the new CyberPeace podcast episode.
Was converted from electronics engineer to aeronautical engineer, from aeronautical engineer to communication, and from communication coming to digital communication, and now came the game, how to protect the network. And as you keep on, connecting these stations, the attack surface was increasing. The people who are engaging in the network, the number was growing. So you are attacking the behavior of people by making them aware of the nuances about the vulnerabilities, about the threats of the cyber domain. The Air Force was always ahead of times, and Air Force made their network. Air Force created a team which was protecting the network, not only with the people awareness. Now I come to the processes. As an individual, you are using an Apple phone or a smartphone from any other company like Samsung. But can you tell me in your house how many devices you have got which has written Gupta Communication or Venkatesh Communication? You have got Samsungs, LGs, and Apples, and so on. Air Force is already upgraded into an advanced version called FNet 2.0. Since we created a cert, we downloaded the patch or any upgrade and tested in the lab environment. Is there any hidden malware? Is there any glitches there? Is it his right patch? Do we need that patch or not? There is a kind of a check and balances if somebody is found doing something wrong or anti-national.
Today we are thrilled to have Air Vice Marshal Dr. Devesh Vatsa, an exceptional speaker, joining us. AVM Vatsa, the esteemed advisor to Data Security Council India, has an impressive 37-year career in the Indian Air Force. Throughout his tenure, he held prominent leadership positions overseeing communication networks, data centers, and cybersecurity operations. His exceptional service has been acknowledged with numerous accolades, including the Prime Minister's Appreciation and the prestigious Vishishta Seva Medal. AVM Vatsa's contribution to India's defense and cybersecurity framework have been invaluable, with his involvement in key projects and global collaborations. He is widely regarded as one of India's most influential cyber warriors, making a significant impact in safeguarding our nation's digital landscape. His expertise and dedication have solidified his reputation as a true pioneer in the field of cybersecurity. Thank you. Welcome to the CyberPeace podcast, sir.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
How
are you doing today?
I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah, thank you. So let's start off. So, as a decorated, Air Vice Marshal, could you please shed some light, about your experience in Indian Air Force, and how has the advancement in the defense regarding cybersecurity been so far in India?
Great. First thing first, I joined Air Force somewhere in 1986, if I'm not wrong. And the journey started from Bangalore when we were doing training, and we thought that we will be flying aircraft, or we thought that we will work in the domain of aircraft per se in maintenance. But it does happen in life that what you plan, it doesn't happen that way. And they taught us aeronautical engineering for full 18 months, and we converted from electronics engineering to aeronautical engineering, right? And then journey started that they pushed me into the domain of communication networks. So I worked in the legacy communication networks of line of sight communication and troposcatter communication. A lot of people don't know about that. Only the oldies might be knowing. And slowly, steadily, we migrated from analog system to digital system. And then, yes, I was lucky that I was working in this domain for good long years. Then I joined the SATCOM communication aspects also, how the journey started from from legacy systems like troposcatter, line of sight communication, to satellite communication, and then to fiber optic communication, and the entire journey of communication, how Air Force evolved, I was part of that. That is one aspect of that. But then what happened? When we were implementing somewhere in 2007, IP MPLS network, classical network, which you all people use in day-to-day life. So Air Force also decided to go for that. And there was a reason for it. There were two factors why we migrated from analog or legacy communication to the modern state-of-the-art IP-MPLS communication. The reason was this: the communication structure in the country was evolving. But the spectrum which they wanted to use was with the Army or the Air Force, right? Why I think so? Like when you talk about the troposcatter communication, it is 1.7 to 2.1 gigahertz is the band, and that band was needed by the mobile companies to utilize and expand the mobile network in India. When you talk about 2.5G, and now we talk about 5G, and then we'll talk about the 6G per se. And government forced us that what network you are using, you may convert it into digital network and surrender those frequencies to us, because it was a national asset. And they were right also, because the network which were old were, what should I say, were not those efficient, or I'll say were using more bandwidth, but giving lesser services, which we talk about today. The connectivity in Air Force at that time was about around 69 stations with the troposcatter or line of sight communication. Reason being, the Indian Air Force looks after the communication from strategic and tactical point of view, where we connect the pilot with the radar guys who detects the enemy aircraft and try to communicate to the pilot who is sitting inside the operational readiness platforms, right? So this communication is not a normal communication, and this we were comfortable with the legacy system as well. But once this IP-MPLS was decided, and I was part of that, we connected all the stations of Air Force, whether the flying stations, or the base report depots, or the equipment depots, or the academic institutes, and it grew to almost 265 locations. And this IP-MPLS network, which was using a lesser frequencies, lesser bandwidth, but more efficient, more effective. I think from there, once we migrated to this network, which all of us are using, smartphones you are connected to the mobile. So Air Force has got a static network, fiber optic network, and we have got a mobile network as well, which is purely used by the Indian Air Force officers to take care of the mobility, right? Even if you're on a station, you're on the move. Stations are big. Like go to Agra. Agra is very, very huge station. Go to Jodhpur. You go to Ambala. So how do I communicate with a guy who's floating around? Officer is needed, and commander wants to talk to him. So if he is not near the phone, how he talks? We cannot use smartphones because, there's a problem with that. Security issues are there, yeah. Right. So now you asked a very valid question. This is part of the journey how I was converted from electronics engineer to aeronautical engineer, from aeronautical engineer to communication, and from communication coming to state-of-the-art communication. And now came the game, how to protect the network.
Right.
So way back in 2007, when we were migrating to the fiber optic network, as I said, there was a reason why we wanted to make our network more reachable, expand the network, as well as give the frequencies back to the government for a better cause. So there are two factors, as I said: internal, to expand the network, and external, because the government wanted it. So we got the state-of-the-art Air Force network, which we say AFNet, and then we created a mobile network. And when we created this, and as you keep on, connecting these stations, the attack surface was increasing. The people who were engaging in the network, the number was growing. And when the number was growing, the devices were growing. And when devices are growing, the attack surface is growing. Now came the game, how to protect it. So India at that time already started talking about Computer Emergency Response Team, and that is called CERT-IN. Yes. And we aligned ourselves with them, and we created our CERT-IF, and who are looking after the protection of these networks. Right. So let's talk about the cybersecurity per se. And I think, if I remember correctly, 2008, we established CERT-IF. Now, coming to the cybersecurity aspect, you are asking how the Air Force grew in this domain. We concentrated on three aspects. Not the PPT, which we generally give. It is PPT, the people, process, technology. And when I say people are who? People are those who are using the technology. People are those who are controlling the technologies. People are those who are maintaining the technologies. So Air Force decided that each and every individual in the organization, whether it is the soldier or the families, everybody has to be made cyber aware. Right. How you have to behave, how you have to use these devices in a manner that no breaches takes place. So you are attacking the behavior of people by making them aware of the nuances about the vulnerabilities, about the threats of the cyber domain. And simultaneously what we did, we started doing training for the people who are supposed to protect the network. So the expertise was varying from the people who are the users, everyday users of the computer sitting on their table, or the telephones which they are using, and the people who are protecting the network. So what we did, we created our CERT, as I said. Their job was to go and tell and educate people, and also simultaneously we fought with the government and got one school opened up in Bangalore called IW School, where we started giving training, basic information warfare training to everybody. So that people who are looking after the network in every station, we had people who are looking not only the IT, there was a separate domain who are looking after the information technology because they are the network guys, but the same guys cannot be a protector, otherwise they will hide. So we created information warfare team and we trained them in Bangalore, and the guys whom we found they are very good, we gave them an advanced IW training, right? So this is the aspect. What I'm bringing here is the Air Force was always ahead of times, and Air Force made their network. Air Force created a team which was protecting the network, not only with the people awareness. Now I come to the processes. When we talk of processes, you write policies. We wrote our own policy, cybersecurity policy, and we continuously upgrade that policy, Alpha, Bravo. We keep on giving instruction to the people. We keep on issuing the advisory to the people. We call it CSI, CSAs. So anything happening in the domain, whatever we learn, immediately we try to push to our people that, hey, these are the things which are happening. These are type of protection you are supposed to do. These are type of action you are supposed to take. These are type of measures you are supposed to take. And this is a continuous process, I am saying this. So now I have spoken about the people, how you make them aware, how you make them capable. You do the capacity building, you increase the number of people who are protecting the network, and have processes in place to control the technology. Why I say control the technology? Because the technology which is making the system work is not Indian.
Yes.
We call it information communication technologies, ICT, and it is really a cause of concern for all Indians that all our equipment which we use as an individual, you are using an Apple phone or a smartphone from any other company like Samsung, but can you tell me in your house how many devices you have got which has written Gupta Communication or Venkatesh Communication? You have got Samsungs, LGs and Apples and so on. So what do we do? We are not sure. How do I trust these devices?
That's why we should do it. That's when self-reliance comes into
play. Very rightly said. So when I say control technology, I mean how I use these devices safely and securely. So what I did, or rather say what we did, I'm saying that we always decided that we cannot live without these modern technologies and we cannot produce all the equipment here in India. But at least what we can do is we don't allow these equipment to get connected to the internet. So whenever the Cisco router is there, like I'm just now talking technology, if a router is to be upgraded, the firmware has to be upgraded, the application has to be upgraded. So what we do is we will not go online, what generally people do, and upgrade the system. No, sorry. What we did, since we created a CERT, we downloaded the patch or any upgrade and tested in the lab environment. Is there any hidden malware? Is there any glitches there? Is it his right patch? Do we need that patch or not? Is it required for us or not? So then after doing the testing, what we did, we implemented that patch in phased manner. We put the patch in multiple machines and we see what impact it is creating with the running application. And then we go in area wise and then we push it pan India. So for doing that, we created a SOC, Security Operations Center. So what we do is the CERT download the patch using a WSUS server. I'm saying Windows System Update Server technology, and there are plenty others. You download the patch or download the upgrade which has come, test it, push it to the SOC. SOC had access to push it to the AFNet. So the AFNet always remains secure. Whatever happens in the world, we are very, very quick in upgrading our system because generally the Microsoft comes out with CVEs, which are known as common vulnerability exploits. And we try to study that, whether the exploits are actually applicable in our organization or not, otherwise you will go mad. because everything is not supposed to be fitted into a system because you are not on internet. So whatever used to happen on internet, we used to learn lessons, and we try to make our intranet called FNet very, very robust and resilient. And I can place it on record. We have not seen any breaches till date because we are insulated from the internet.
Right. So,
and last but not the least is the technology. As I said, technology is imported. Technology is not from India. Right. So, but we are using the state of the art technology, and we are, if I can say, the version is also changed. AFNet 1.0 was there when I started, implementing the project. But as far my knowledge goes, Air Force is already upgraded into an advanced version called AFNet 2.0. So the avatar which we see now is much, much more capable, efficient, resilient, robust, and I'd say totally free from any kind of ingress from the internet. That's the way the journey of Air Force and cybersecurity started. And I can very proudly say it is in the hands of very, very capable people who are MTechs and PhDs. They are putting their day in, day out hard work to protect this network. Important aspect is, unlike what we use the network for, our comfort, here the operations are very important.
Yes.
And mission critical applications are running on this network, and that's the reason why it has to be always up and running, robust, resilient, and never ever should be compromised with any breach. Otherwise, it will impact our operation and effectiveness in peace as well as in war. Thank you.
It's also about how integral, the officers are.
Yes.
Integrity is very important.
Absolutely, I do agree with that.
Right. Yeah.
And integrity is not questionable because the Air Force has got its own mechanism to select officers. And I'm very sure that whatever I have seen in my 37 years in Air Force, there is a kind of a check and balances. If somebody is found doing something wrong or anti-national, there are mechanisms to correct. But in my entire career, I didn't find anybody, whether the men or the officer, was found wanting in this domain per se, because the selection procedure is so tough and they eliminate people. Yes, exceptions are there. One odd guy might come inside, but there is a mechanism to check them and identify and insulate the organization from those guys. Yes,
of course. Yeah. So, in what ways can global cybersecurity initiatives be made more inclusive to ensure that developing countries are not left behind in the digital age?
I think a very, very interesting question you asked. There is always a disparity, I'll say, between the developed nations and developing countries. And like India is always referred as developing country, right? And I remember very distinctly when President Abdul Kalam was giving me my MTech degree in IIT Mumbai, and in his address he said, "I'm waiting for the day when India will be referred as a developed country."
Right.
And I also say the same thing. But yes, a lot of progress has been made. I'm talking about 94 when I got my degree from Dr. Kalam, and I was really touched upon by his words. Why India should remain a developed country. Today also I see in Western media, people just say show the bullock carts and cows and buffaloes on the road, and you will find this snakes and snake charmers being highlighted, and they come to India and they take. I'm saying they take a picture particularly for that only, and they try to put something of that sort, that India is still a very, very not a developed country, and they require a lot of things. But I'm sorry, today the world is run by our Indians.
Right.
When I say so.
Any country would have its drawbacks.
When I say so, I mean it, because the Google CEO is who?
Indian.
Who runs
Indians have occupied like prominent positions overseas,
Very well said, Preeti. That's the reason why I'm saying why people have to say India is a developed nation and a developing country. India is a developed nation because if we can run the economy of the United States of America by teaching our kids out here and sending them there. So I think I am very, very proud to say, if I remove those guys from there, America has to think twice.
Of course.
I'm telling you this. This is a statement I'm making, and you can put it on record. And now coming to the question, how we remove the disparity. Right. Disparity can be removed when we collaborate between the nations and try to find out who are the people who need the digital literacy. You identify people who are disabled. You identify people. I generally see women are always left behind in this domain. And I'm very happy to see you sitting in this chair and interviewing me. And I come from now an organization called Data Security Council of India. and the NASCOM, where generally 80% employees are girls.
Okay.
And there's something very interesting because I was asking HR,
Okay.
and who was also a lady, and she said, sir, generally we prefer to take girls because that is our policy. If there are two candidates who apply and there is a girl, even if she is good or bad, I'm not saying, people are equally good, equally bad, but preference will be the girl. So this is the way we are empowering our women. And similarly, when you talk about how the disparity can be removed, we have to collaborate, we have to collegiate, we have to cooperate with each other, and we have to identify the gaps. If I find there's an African countries where you need help to make people aware of cyber security, make them capable. First thing, you make them digital literate so that they are able to use these devices comfortably and in a manner which they are supposed to use. And I think this can be done by those people who are blessed, who are educated. I'm not very country specific. I can say it can be academia, it can be industry, it can be the government, it can be anybody. Like you people are running a CyberPeace Foundation, and I personally believe these kind of organizations which are not government or semi-government or totally private or something, it's the intent of people, and the people only can change the life of people, I'll put it this way. And I personally believe capacity building in one aspect, where you have to collaborate and you have to identify those nations who are the people who need that. Then what we can do is we have to do a fellowship programs. We should give money to people, and funding should be done by the government. And wherever it is possible, like I will just tell you one very interesting aspect, how we are doing it from the perspective of DSCI. We are trying to empower women in India itself. So we have created a program called Cyber Shiksha. You will love to hear that. All the girls who are doing BTech in IT, information technology, and the jobs are not, they are getting curtailed down in the domain of IT, but increasing the domain of new technology called AI and cyber domain. So what we do is we identify these girls who are from little economical, poor background, and whose parents are having, say, something around 6 lakhs per year, the income. So we take these girls from various engineering colleges, and we run this program of Cyber Shiksha and train them in the cybersecurity domain. And I'm very proud to share with you, they are now all working in top 4 big companies, KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, and their stories are available on LinkedIn, you can see. So this is one aspect of how you empower people, as you asked. Second aspect, very interesting, is we run a program called Cyber for Youth. And we target especially all schools, the kids of 6th and 7th standards. And this we do in collaboration with multiple agencies. Like we have a collaboration with British High Commission, and because the schools cannot pay, I'm talking about the schools who are government schools and not funded, like the convent schools or international schools or somewhere. And we identify those girls and boys, and we do training for them, and the money comes from the corporate, right? So that the school doesn't pay anything. And we also do one program, train the trainers. So we teach the teachers also about the aspects of cybersecurity, cyber awareness, because the kids are using, after the COVID-19 has happened, every kid has got a device in hand, and he's doing the assignments given by the teachers. How do they do it? The devices in the house are not secure like in the corporate. So it is important that the 6-inch device which you are carrying in your pocket, actually, if you ask me, I call it a bomb. And if you don't handle your weapon properly, you are in a trouble. So I think a lot can be done. We have to have inclusivity. It is our social responsibility as well, right? To identify people, identify nation, pump in money, fund the fellowship, go there, establish their labs, establish their schools, like India did for Mongolia. I went to Mongolia and we established their lab. Not only we gave the knowledge sharing, we actually we gave them the hardware as well. And we established a beautiful lab there in Mongolia. So what I'm saying is, India is doing this, India is doing its own efforts in this domain. And I am sure other countries are also doing. And it's a wonderful feeling that you have to share your intelligence, you have to share your threat also when you are seeing in this domain of cyber. And this collaboration of sharing, caring will create a world where everybody is, comfortably use the devices which we are using and live very happily in cyberspace without getting hacked, without getting breached, without getting scammed, I can say so.
Right. Well, talking about the devices, what do you have to say about the pager attack?
I must first congratulate the engineers and the guys who worked for it. First thing first.
Okay.
Now coming the second aspect. Generally, people talk about as soon as somebody dies or somebody is killed. A lot of people see only in one aspect of that. Now, what is human rights? How they can kill people? But I ask a question. If they damage some piece of any country, they kill their people. Do you think those criminals are supposed to be alive? If you leave them, they will kill more people.
Right.
So I think Israel did a right thing, because once they did all kind of tricks and they killed their people. So I must salute the Israeli Defense Forces for creating a wonderful unit which talks of cyber warfare. And this is not today.
Okay.
It is a long story. Say, second half of the last century, they were already into this. And Israel is not the first time they have done it. You read a book called Hunt for Engineer, and you realize there was a guy called, they named him engineer because he was an engineer by profession.
Okay.
His name was, if I remember correctly, Yahya Ayyash. So Yahya Ayyash was a known terrorist who was killing so many people around. In 1996, April, he was killed, I think. Yeah. So the story goes like this. He was killed like the pager attack took place right now you're talking about. But you must remember that Israelis were doing it historically 40 years back as well, right? What they did, they killed engineer using a mobile phone. And mobile phone had an explosive inside. I'll not tell the entire story. You read that story.
Okay.
And they ran a plane, and from the plane they did a signaling, and the detonator was detonated, and his head was blown off. This happened somewhere in 1986 in April, because this engineer has a habit of talking to his father once in 2 months or 3 months, and Mossad was, tracking him, and that's the way they did it. And this story also is beautiful, because when you talk of this attack, people earlier started thinking the battery has exploded. No. Beautifully, they created a shell company.
Okay.
And they first created a information warfare, telling we'll kill you if you are using a smartphone. So suddenly their bosses, they said, no, yeah, we will not use smartphone. And they ordered these pagers, which are a very old technology. And there was a company which was manufacturing the pager, and the Israelis created a shell company. From there it came to them, and they put the explosive there, and then they were shipped to them. And rest is, the world knows what had happened.
Okay.
So these are cyber physical systems. How you operate in digital world or cyber world and impact in a physical world. So this is a big example to you. So I think while these things happen, that's why I mentioned smartphone is a bomb.
Right.
So be careful.
Yeah. So what lessons can be learned from major cyber security breaches in recent history, and how can these lessons inform future global cyber security policies, sir?
See, there are plenty of breaches taking place in terms of somewhere the data was stolen, whether we talk about the target company, we talk about the Equifax, we talk about the NotPetya, we talk about the WannaCry, we talk about the Colonial Pipeline hack, we talk about the SolarWind attack. But every attack when you see, there are many lessons to learn. If we talk about the Equifax, which happened in 2017, the issue of patch management. The vulnerability was there, nobody patched it. See, in defense services, they say, sundown, sleep down. Why? Because you are operating in a jungle. Some mosquito will bite, some insect might bite you. So sleep down, you're safe. And that's the reason why we say patch management. If your shirt is torn, the mosquito can still bite from there.
Yes.
So apply a patch. So patch seals whatever was gaps were the right. And that's what the software engineer have learned. If I remember my school days, we used to have those patches on jeans. We used to put, even if it is not torn, still we'll put. And I remember a very famous patch, Peace. It was on my jeans when I was in 8th or 9th standard. So patch primarily protects your system. And they knew the vulnerability existed, but they never patched it. And that was exploited by the hackers. Same way, when WannaCry took place, we realized that the attack, when ransomware attack takes place, it is taking place because you are allowing somebody to control your system.
Right.
So how he reaches you? You have not closed the door properly. The problem is this, The protectors have to close all the windows and doors, but the hacker requires only one window open and evil enters there. So there are plenty of lessons learned in terms of protecting your devices through patch management, timely upgrade. You must be aware what is happening in the world. When CVEs come and the exploits comes, you immediately take an advice from the company who has provided the devices. At times it has been seen the same kind of attack has happened because people were found sleeping and wanting, because they were supposed to apply a patch which was released, but they didn't. Because of this, zero-day attacks takes place. A zero-day exploit is an exploit which is not known to the world till the time attack takes place. So there are plenty of lessons which you can learn from this attack of Equifax, from the attack of, say, WannaCry, then NotPetya, then Solar Pipeline. Like Solar Pipeline is a critical infrastructure. Colonial Pipeline. The Solar Wind attack is a different attack. Colonial Pipeline in America, what happened is they played around with the critical infrastructure. So the supply is not coming. The energy is not coming. What will happen? Your lifts will not work. Right. Your traffic lights will not work. The chaos will be created in the country. Like in Ukraine, at the opportune time in the winters, Russians attacked their power grid system. And people were shivering because they have to heat their system, heat their houses, isn't it? So the thing is, these lessons are plenty, and lessons are like this. We should be aware what is happening. You must understand your ecosystem. You're prepared for any kind of breach which is happening. How do I plug it? You should make your team aware about it, which we have discussed, people, process, technology. You should know what kind of devices you are having. At times what I see, people are not even aware how many laptops they have got, how many systems they have got. So I forgot. I had one laptop, but one I bought, somewhere it is lying down. People are not even aware. That's why they call it discovery of assets. So nowadays we say, know your client, KYC. But I say, KYA, know your assets. You look at yourself, you must be having an iPad, you must be having a laptop. I'm very sure you must be having 2-3 smartphones. If not 2-3 smartphones, 2-3 SIMs in a smartphones. So you look around, you've got a camera in your house, you must be putting a CCTV camera, your door must be smart. So when you are creating these kind of smart gadgets around yourself, and you're not protecting them, you are in for trouble. So all these lessons which we talk about, lessons means learn, secure your people, secure your devices, put the technology in place, the solutions are available, but put it at the right time, at the right moment. But if you miss the bus, you will do it after damage is done.
I think history repeats, so people should be aware,
There was a Bangladesh heist took place, and they played around with the SWIFT system, and I don't know how many $1 million were siphoned off. But interestingly, after that attack took place, a second attack, similar attack took place in another bank. So this means we never learned the lessons. So if you don't learn the lesson, it is something like you are walking on the road and you see a banana peel lying on the road and you start thinking, today also I have to slip. Means what? You have to be aware. These things I have to do, and I have to do it in a manner so that I protect my systems. So lessons are plenty from every attack which takes place. Like AIMS attack took place.
Yes.
So people say it was a ransomware attack, but I'll say no. There's much more into it, because all the VVIPs are treated there. And health data is very important. Why I say so? The first act of protection came in America called HIPAA, Health Information Protection Act. So you can imagine how the health data is so critical. So if our people who are VVIPs in the country, and say, yes, all these VVIPs are generally old, they are not young. So they have got health issues. So if those data is available to a particular country, I'll say state actors, they may play around with the health information system. And nowadays, even the medicines are giving in an informal way. If you've got a video display unit, you're lying in ICU. I was in ICU, I saw that. It's my second life. So I saw 2 videos. One was monitoring my parameters, and second was subscribing the medicines which nurse has to give me. So doctor may come, may not come. But the screen will show what she has to get, inject an injection or give me a medicine, and somebody hacks into the system. Think about it. And he knows this gentleman has got allergy to penicillin and inject penicillin. Nurse is not the culprit. She's just following the orders. So look at this, how cyber death can take place. So it is very, very important to understand why an attack takes place, what is the intent of the attacker. In the case of AIMS, I'm very sure they are more into siphoning of data. It is not a ransomware attack. This is what I have to say.
Yes.
So every attack, every breach tells you where you are lacking, what are the gaps, those gaps need to be plugged.
Right. So, what role do non-state actors such as tech companies and civil society organizations play in influencing and shaping cyber diplomatic efforts?
Now, I think they have got a very big role to play because they are the big players, like, say, for example, these tech companies called Google, like we talk about the Meta, we talk about the Facebook, and we talk about the Microsoft. And I think, I don't exactly remember, they are doing a good job on this. How do we communicate to people what action they are supposed to take in this domain? And cyber diplomacy, as you say, is a very, very complicated subject because in cyber, one thing I'm very sure of, people say you should be ethical in cyber domain. There's nothing ethical in cyber domain, to be honest with you. And why I say so, it's a game. It's a game like chess you play. Certain cards you keep close to your heart, right? Even if I say these companies are doing something, these companies always, all companies are established with one reason, and that reason is profit. Please accept that fact. If they find profit in cyber diplomacy, they will do it.
Okay.
So I always have an apprehension why XYZ company is doing XYZ jobs. We are all very happy of using WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. Have you ever realized why somebody will give you free 15 GB of space? You are clicking all the stupid photographs, putting on their database server. It costs money.
Right.
So have you ever think, kabhi socha hai? Does anybody apply his mind before he's, pouting his lips and clicking a picture and then putting it on Instagram? Believe me, you have to read a book called Cyber Weapon. And then you will learn how the state actors are involved in collecting the data. These all are data collecting organizations. And today, AI has come suddenly in the market. AI eats data, and you guys create data. And you are creating data, somebody is collecting the data because they give you everything free. Why should somebody keep a photograph of me, who's an ugly looking fellow? Why they should keep it in database server? Because database server costs money. Any memory you buy costs money, whether little or more, that is a different issue. But think about the entire population of the globe. Okay. Google is everywhere. Yes. So they are collecting the data. They give you 15 GB of space on Gmail and you are typing your Gmail. You don't even know. When I write to you on a Gmail, first I go to US and then come back to you.
On ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Now LLMs have come. This large language model like ChatGPT, Perplexity. There are plenty of AI assisted systems are there where you are using them day in, day out. Not only you, everybody is using it for good or bad. I'll not comment on that because technology is actually empowering you. I'll put it this way. Even you put a question to ChatGPT, it'll give you an answer. It may not be a complete answer, but it'll at least tell you, yes, you are going in the right way or wrong way. You do further research, but don't copy it. That's the idea. So what you said is these companies do play a role. Not only these companies, but like you are sitting here, we got a CyberPeace Foundation, and we have got a lot of think tanks. We have got institute called ITSA, we have got institute called USI, we have got CLAWS, we have plenty of national, international organizations. United Nations does a lot of things. Yes. We have got UNESCO and the UN also intervene in these kind of aspects. There are a lot of people who are doing studies. And we are talking about ethical AI also, by the way.
Yes.
So there are a lot of groups who are talking about ethical AI, what AI will do. We are talking about AI consciousness. A lot of people are saying, hey, AI, how AI can change life of people? Yes. Like me and you, we emote. The people say AI will not emote. No, research is going on. AI will emote. So there's a kind of all intellectuals are talking about how the singularity when AGI will come. I mean, we are talking about AI, now we talk about AGI. So I'm also being a student of science and technology. It always, I'm always, keeping my, eyes, ears open and trying to see what is going to happen next. Because I'm coming from not Gen Z. You people talk Gen Z, I don't know. I don't know, we are of Gen B, C, D, I don't know what. But I'm lucky to see transcending from very classical technologies to so-called advanced technology of blockchain, quantum computer, robotics, AI. And things are happening and happening for good, I say. But yes, the other aspect is also there.
Okay. So, how can emerging technologies and AI and quantum computing impact the strategies and practices of cyber diplomacy?
See, there are two aspects in this. Emerging technologies basically create a technical divide among the developed nation and developing countries. And we always know this, like we see from West, most of the companies which you see, internet companies, are born there.
Yes.
Whether you talk of Google, you talk of Facebook, you talk of Meta.
Right.
And now even the emerging technologies which we are seeing the research coming out from United States and Europe, the job is happening in India also.
Right.
But it will create further digital divide, I say. Because there are people who are migrating to AI, there are people who are not migrating to AI, but things are happening, and this will further create a divide between the two nations, developed and developing nations. But however, this AI and quantum will help in the domain of cybersecurity per se. Okay. Because AI will increase the scale and speed and frequency. They can detect the threat faster. They can help you in creating a better incident response plan. And also, with this AI kind of things, the automation will take place. So what I personally believe is, if we use this AI in a proper fashion, it will enhance your cybersecurity posturing. And when I say cybersecurity posturing, what do you mean by that? Like, we try to achieve a uniform cybersecurity posture, pan-IF. Indian Army does that, Indian Navy does that, but yes, in India it is really difficult. And we are fighting for it, that India also should have a uniform cybersecurity posture. Whether you're in academia, you're in industry, you're in defense, you're in government, everybody should be aligned to a particular policy and ABC that you do, so that the cyberspace is secure, right? So technology is going to play a role. And also, when we say diplomacy, diplomacy is, again, we have already discussed how we build capabilities to those people who are less privileged. So cyber diplomacy primarily is towards, what I understand is, towards inclusive growth of all, and we all walk together, nurture a culture of peace through the cyber, and everybody should be at par. Nobody will be left behind, not to utilize the fruit of digital evolution, I'll say.
Okay. So coming to the last question, so what message would you like to give to CyberPeace?
First thing, I must congratulate the CyberPeace Foundation for a lovely initiative they are taking. And I think you guys are doing a wonderful job. I'm a technocrat. I don't understand most of the aspects of history and culture, I'll say. But by virtue of now becoming a little mature, I've started learning these nuances. Typical Fauji has got only one thing in mind: kill the enemy. Don't think. But now I have started thinking when I read more. Earlier I used to think when I was a youngster, fire the button, destroy the enemy. Why we are having the nuclear capability, we can't use it. But then I did a course as a younger guy. Then I was told, no, it's a deterrent. It is something like an elephant is walking on the street. So you take precaution. He will walk. Till the time he's not leaving the street, you keep following him. And that is called power. That is called deterrence. So we become capable not to destroy people or destroy humanity, but to tell the world, please don't mess with us. That is very important. And cyber diplomacy, when we talk about, cyber peace, when we talk about, they are very, very important aspect, as I have mentioned earlier: inclusiveness, social responsibility, collaboration. These three aspects are very, very important for cyber peace. And I like this word peace, which is very difficult to achieve. You can't achieve peace in a family. Family of two people only. Husband and wife are fighting. Then they have got kids, kids are fighting. 4 people in one room. So they get a 4 BHK house. Everybody are living in separate room. Why? Because the opinion doesn't, what should I say, synergize. Everybody has got his own opinion. And at times we are unable to respect other opinion, whether opinion of individual, opinion of a country or a state. And that's actually create those kind of conflicts. So how we resolve these conflicts, I think CyberPeace Foundation will do this job, and has also some steps. They will teach the diplomats what you are supposed to talk, how you create those kind of environment. I'll say environment of growth, or a mutual growth, or a collective growth, so that we see everybody growing together, the entire world going together, all people going together, and getting all those things which science and technology give them, like internet and the digital devices which we have, digital services which we have, digital public infrastructure which we have created. So beautiful today. You can transfer the money at a go. You can order your food at a go. But it shouldn't happen with you.
Right.
Your maidservant should also use the same thing. Your driver should also use the same thing. So I think all over the world, all the people in the world should enjoy the fruits of digital evolution.
Of course.
And people like you will try to teach people, don't use cyber as a means to destroy any community,
Yes.
any state, any nation, but use cyber or cyberspace for growth, for betterment and development of people. This is what I can say. And thank you so very much.
Yeah. So we come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, sir. It was great having you.
Thank you very much for having me here. And I must once again congratulate you people for doing a wonderful job. And God bless you all. Thank you so very much. Jai Hind.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to AVM Vatsa, sir, for joining us in discussion on global cybersecurity issues and its implications for all the cybersecurity and foreign affairs enthusiasts. We hope the episode was beneficial to you. As always, thanks for listening to the CyberPeace podcast. So if you enjoyed our show, please like and share this video and be sure to come back next week with a new episode. Until then, this is Dr. Preeti signing off. Thank you.